Hi Aries, I hope that you're all doing well. We are here with a general reading. Before we get started, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. I'm seeing that you're about to get clarity on something, like maybe you have been waiting on information or waiting to hear back. Seems like that is finally happening. I'm hearing long wait. Could have been waiting a while to maybe resolve something or to get clarity on a situation. Figure something out. Okay. So to be starting off with the Sun here, something has become apparent, something has become obvious to you. It looks like there's a choice that needs to be made, potentially about people you're collaborating with, people that you're working with, or a collaboration in general. This can be someone that you're actively engaging with. A possible ending. I was seeing the Ten of Swords. Maybe that's an option here. Setting boundaries, at least. You may feel like you need to kind of defend yourself with another person, or defend something that you're doing. Can be an unpopular opinion that you have. You're just feeling like protective over something. Looks like there's a change that's happening within a relationship of yours, but part of you may be in a space where you're like, I'm going to stand up against this. I don't want this to be happening, but it seems kind of inevitable that things are going to be changing in some way, developing further. But you could be at a point where you're like, well, if it were up to me, I wouldn't really be changing this, but it seems like it's kind of inevitable, Aries. Yeah. Long awaited. This wanted to come out before, but it almost seemed like it wasn't time for it. So I am hearing collapse. It seems like something is finally coming to an end for you. Like it's become apparent, it's become obvious. And this is going to allow you to kind of like move forward in a way. With the Death card, this could have been something where you were like, well, I have no control over this. The universe is kind of setting it up in this way, so it just is what it is. I can't really fight this off any longer. But you could have for a while been like, let me stake my claim, or let me like mark this, or like don't cross this line here. But the Death card comes through and changes everything up. For a good reason. This is definitely it for you. The change is an ending. 333 on the time. And then I'm seeing you move on from it. So it's like an ending happens. And it's interesting because this feels like a very quick bounce back, or kind of like the building gets knocked over, metaphorically speaking, of whatever this is. And you waste no time getting away from it. Maybe there was resistance because of just like what a big to-do this was, of this thing coming to an end. You may also be understanding more so like what the purpose of this is, which maybe wasn't something you had been seeing before. So something ends, you move on, but then you move into this very like foggy, this is giving me like some really Neptunian vibes here with the 777. It's like, what is this even? So you move away from a situation and then you move towards feeling kind of tripped out by something going on. You may actually be working with someone that, like, maybe they're not being straightforward about something. There's an issue with someone being deceptive in some way, or you feeling like you can't trust this person. And I'm seeing you be in a spot where you're like, okay, we're working together. I feel like something isn't right here. I also feel the need to kind of like show up for myself and defend myself or do what needs to be done here. But I also feel like kind of confused, but I'm kind of setting this boundary so I don't get more confused about what's going on. It's almost like this fog wants to sort of like permeate, but you're like, I'm putting my boundaries here so this can't get to me. Like maybe somebody's projected energy that you don't want to be taking on. I will say this as well, like you could have made a decision and been like, okay, I'm making this decision, so here it is, final call. And you're like, okay, I made the decision, I'm moving away from it. But then to have the Seven of Swords, it's like, are you rethinking something and then kind of going backwards? Like, was this the right decision? It's like you're on the boat to the other side of the island, or like the island out there. And it's like right before you touch down on the new land, you're like, did I make the right call? So you may maybe having issues with self-trust if this isn't someone outside of yourself. Yeah. Like, did I make the right call here? Definitely feeling that. But this looks like it's been inspired by somebody around you for you to be feeling this way. Trust yourself. It seems also like you've kind of, like you have some time to be sitting with this, and that may be why this is happening. You know, like when you keep busy, you don't really have time to ruminate sometimes, which sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes we need the space and time to ruminate. But in this situation, it's kind of like you're in the waiting room or you're in the queue, like waiting for something to happen, which hasn't happened yet. And so because you kind of haven't gotten all the way to the other side of this, it's like these thoughts that pop up, and it's like, did I really make the right decision? Was this the right call? Like you questioning yourself. Again, feels like it's been inspired by someone around you that you've been working with that can be like instilling some sort of doubt, or you being like, I don't know if I can trust myself in this situation. Okay. Okay, so what's coming through about this? If you were in a situation and you realize that no matter what happens afterwards, I know that I can't do this anymore, or that this needs to come to an end. So regardless of the consequences, I can't be worried about that right now. I need to just do what's right in this moment. Again, last call, the ending that happens. So then again, I'm seeing you be in a space where you're like, okay, I made that decision, I'm moving away from it. Like you feel mentally intact, and that you're just going in the direction that needs to be gone in. Whatever drama that was, or whatever busyness that was, you feel like this is a decision, a marked decision where you are setting out to kind of find your peace within a situation. And then I'm seeing you be met by this Seven of Swords. I'm getting that this Seven of Swords is like a sense of doubt. Like, are you sure you don't want to turn back around and go back towards that ending? And you're like, no, I left that ending for a reason. But this feels very much like internal dialogue-y. And then I'm seeing, and again, like this can be someone outside of you that's influencing you. This can be your own self-talk space. And then it's like the saboteur comes through and is like bringing this cloud of like fogginess and haziness of like, what if it's this and what if that's going on? And it's like this very confusing energy of things not feeling clear. Like what this energy does is it brings a sense of shadow, which is like bringing a veil over things. So you feel like there's a lack of light, truth, consciousness within a situation. And then to have, oh, we actually have 3 sevens in a row. This is like very, very like karmic numbers here to have all of these sevens. to have this other 7 over here, it's kind of like, I feel like something's happening and I know something is manifesting, but I haven't seen the materialization of that yet. And so I'm kind of in this spot questioning my choice, questioning this decision that I made. I want to say this too, Aries, you could have maybe done something more impulsively as well and be questioning that now. Because like, as much as we all have Aries in our chart. This is no slight towards Aries. I have a bunch of Aries in my chart. My moon is in Aries. Sometimes with the Aries energy, because it is like moving quickly and making a choice, and it is associated with like, if something's coming at me fast, I need to respond very quickly and figure out how to deal with that, or how to ward that off, or shield myself, or like fight, or whatever it is. It's like a very, very quick, can be impulsive energy. You may have made a choice like instinctively that felt right to you, and now it's like the rest of your thoughts and your emotions are kind of catching up with your body now. And it kind of seems like you may be feeling a little bit of whiplash because of that. But that's not to say that you didn't make the right decision. That's not to say anything about the decision that you made, honestly. It just seems like maybe now some things that you hadn't considered before are kind of like coming forward, that were not right in front of you before. They're kind of in the, like, in your peripheral vision. Yeah, this does really seem like you were working with someone. Okay, you could have been doing shadow work, so this can be like you with you, but for many of you, I'm seeing there was actually another person that you were working with that was definitely bringing, they could have been bringing things up for you where you were like, oh, my shadow's coming up now, and now I have to deal with that. Let's go with that. You were feeling triggered in some way. So this brought something up for you that then you may have kind of been like, this is brought up. Your shadow comes up when you're in the collaboration with this person, or it can be something going on where you're like, I don't really trust where this person is coming from. But again, like, this is definitely triggering something within you. And then there's this feeling of like fighting. Like, this is a sense even of, like, I'm kind of marking my territory here, like, don't come at me. But then I'm seeing there also be like this sense of confusion, but it's kind of like, what is the right move to be making here? Like, where's your energy? Where's my energy? And I'm seeing that like this is the precipice of a change that's happening, but it seems like such a jumbled situation where you may be having a hard time, like, are you in the shadow space? Am I in the shadow space? Am I feeling triggered? Are you triggering this within me? It's like this whole thing. It reminds me of the meme of like the Spider-Man, and they're all like pointing at one another, but like all of them are the Spider-Man. It's one of those situations where it's like you're pointing the finger at the person that's like pointing the finger at you, and maybe it feels like that. Like there's something that's not there's something that's still very converged that you may be trying to kind of like separate and pull apart right now to be able to decipher between your energy and this other person's energy, and like if this is really your shadow popping up. See, this is the thing with to have the 7 of Swords here and also the 3 of Pentacles, you may be in this space where it just comes down to this. Is this me acting from a shadow space? Is this my shadow popping up? And I need to take a deeper look at that, or is this just that other person's, and that's why this is popping up for me? Like, whose shadow is this? Trying to figure out here within this situation. And it's like right now it could be either of yours. I'm not seeing it lean one way or another. We're gonna keep going though and see. And maybe that's the thing too. Like maybe someone's in a shadow space and they're triggering your shadow also. through reflection, you are going to find the answer that you're looking for. But yeah, something was, whatever situation this was that's been happening, I'm seeing you be kind of in a cloud of smoke, but that is going to be dissipating. I'm hearing sports with the death card. It's going to be dissipating. It just hasn't dissipated yet, but it will be. It also seems like even though you may not feel like you're making a lot of progress, I'm seeing that you're making progress. Just seems like a very convoluted situation. This is an opportunity for growth nonetheless. Definitely an aspect of the point. Here we go. Calling judgment. Okay, Knight of Wands. Definitely with the fast-paced energy with the Knight of Wands. So, calling judgment is about like looking into a situation, maybe trying to figure out why you're feeling what you're feeling, why that's going on within the headspace, and also doing what you need to do to ground your energy, to center, to find balance, to regulate. See? It's like you feel strongly affected by something, impacted by something. This can too be like, let me be honest with myself. And you may be in a spot where you're like, I don't like this thing that I'm seeing, or like, this is really hard for me to swallow, whatever this is for you, where it's like, regardless of what you see on the other side of this, but you being honest with yourself here through your analysis, it is going to help you understand why you're feeling what you're feeling, where that's coming from, just understanding your process. And then it's also going to help you effectively remedy whatever this is that's going on that feels so intense right now. But if you're not looking at it and you're not like properly assessing it, how are you going to properly remedy that? And this is why it's so important. Like, you need to know what it is that's going on to recognize what's happening before you can address it. And it takes that reflection to make that possible. And maybe also you kind of pulling back into your own energy. Maybe like reflecting, kind of disconnecting from others and moving into your own space of self-analysis. Which I'm seeing is going to like hook you back up. You're going to feel connected to something that maybe you had been feeling was like unplugged before, and now it's getting connected back in. Okay, so we are shedding light on an ending. This ending has felt painful. To have the Judgment card, this is like taking a very deep look into this. Like, we're putting this ending under a microscope here. See this? It's like there's no place to hide in this. We don't want to hide. We don't need to hide. We need to look at this. So we're looking at the ending. Again, putting it under a microscope. I'm seeing a decision that needs to be made. Like, do you want to move on? Are we ready to move on from the ending? I'm seeing it still be something that like may be bothering you. You may be in a spot where you're like, part of me knows I need to move on. This other part of me is like so sad and worried, or this is just really hard for me right now, or I keep getting in my head about it. Like, this feels like such a nightmare type of energy with the Nine of Swords. But I'm seeing that like you're collaborating with the Seven of Swords, which definitely looks to me like you are collaborating, doing your shadow work here and learning how to ground and center. King of Cups, when it comes to the Seven of Swords, is all about like, how do we integrate the shadow and how do we regulate when we are experiencing something where we feel triggered. Maybe something that we don't feel super proud of, or something that kind of riles us up whatever this is for you, it's something that you're bringing a sense of like awareness and consciousness to it, and doing so in a compassionate way with the King of Cups. This is about self-love. This is about like loving all of the participants in the conversation is what I'm hearing. And I'm seeing like the King of Cups is like, let's get to a spot where we are recognizing what's going on, where we're analyzing all of the parts of it, and where we are holding space for all of that. And then this comes up, which kind of feels like a block of, I don't want to let this confusion kind of have me tumbling over myself. So it seems like the King of Cups is sort of your safeguard of, I'm going to handle this in the most grounded and centered way, and this is what's going to help me regulate, which is also going to help me combat the confusion that comes with that Seven of Cups. And then to have the Hermit, it's like, let me look at this, let me do this on my own too. Like, this is a moment where like you're taking accountability, where you're taking responsibility, and you are reflecting on this. So this is something that you take on, like you're not necessarily using other people to process this. This is something where you're like, this is my stuff, it's my responsibility, I'm gonna figure this out, I'm gonna reflect on this, and this is a process between me and myself, and I'm gonna work through this. And then to have the Death card, it's like a change is coming. A change is coming, you can feel it, there's something here that is developing, and I'm seeing the Ace of Cups, which means that by the end of this, you are going to feel much more connected than you had been feeling before. And there may even be something that you say or a conversation that you end up having, which feels like it's going to be on the very tail end of this. All right, Aries, actually, let me go through. I'm looking at Virgo and Scorpio, Pluto, and the Sun. So more Scorpio, Leo energy with the Sun. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for tuning in. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.